Animation Meme Review! Hi, hello, I'm Lime, and according to my audience statistics, a large amount of you were just transported back to the battlefield for a brief moment. Don't worry, you're safe now. Or are you? For those uninitiated, Animation Meme Review was a series on YouTube. It was a YouTube series made by a YouTuber who was notably not an artist or animator, and whose entire brand was built on calling people cringe and bullying children. There may or may not be an episode dedicated to calling 14-year-old me a fat. Anyway, the reason why I come before you all today, I am here to propose a reclamation. I come before you all today to ask, where is our justice? For the artists, for those of us who were kids at the time, terrified of being called cringe, are we not allowed to take things into our own hands and right the wrongs of others from our past, correcting the trajectory for those who come after us? I could make an entire video about this, but pkrussl's animation meme review was, at the very least, a large factor in the death of the animation meme community. To put it very simply, YouTube, and especially the micro-communities that exist within it, are only able to exist through symbiosis. YouTube thrives on community, not competition. Competition exists, of course, but if you want a community to flourish, you cannot face competition by tearing each other down instead of making your own content better. Most of you will already know this example, but back in 2020, a bunch of makeup and beauty YouTubers began attempting to turn their audiences against each other out of fear of competition, and instead the entire makeup and beauty community on YouTube took a nosedive, and here we are, 4 years later, it still hasn't fully recovered. And this is a big deal too, like that community has always been one of the biggest on the platform. TikTok is partially to blame, yeah, but the community on YouTube cannibalized itself, which led people to move to TikTok to get their fix for that kind of content in the first place. In my opinion, a very similar thing happened with the animation meme community. I would describe myself as being at ground zero. I watched it all happen step by step. I was there with Miji in pkrussl's live streams before Animation Meme Review became a series. I watched as, on stream, he watched some of his very first animation memes and talked about how cringe they were. There was a time where I was a mod in his live streams. I stayed as an active member in this tiny niche within the, at the time, massive animation meme community. I watched his content grow. I watched as more and more of the community looked to him for his opinion, for his validation. He was of the very loud opinion that animation memes were incredibly lazy and needed more time and effort put into them to be worth the attention they received. He would consistently and personally target the larger animators with this rhetoric. And so, the heads of the community, whom everyone looked to know which memes were trending at the time, slowed their posting schedule. Huge channels that usually posted at least once every few weeks were now barely pushing one upload a month. And usually the memes that they posted were too elaborate for the average viewer to want to imitate. Trends stopped making as much of an impact because they were slower. YouTube punished the slower upload schedules by burying them under the algorithm, which was responsible for animation communities resorting to short, simple, and lazy content in the first place. Not to mention, younger artists were too scared to even begin making content out of fear of being called cringe by a grown man and his 250,000 subscriber fanbase. Are we seeing the problem yet? The animation meme community was only able to exist despite the anti-animation algorithm because of just that, its community. Not to be dramatic, but pkrussl's animation meme review series bashed the community's skull in with a hammer, all for the sake of views. Views that, once the community had died off, disappeared. That's right. He built his entire YouTube career off of tearing down this single community, and once the community went into a cringe-induced coma, his channel shit the bed. It's also silly looking back on it. I almost can't even be mad. It was always so painfully obvious he didn't have any idea of what he was talking about. He would say, well, you don't have to be a chef to know food tastes good. But like, the average person eats food every day of their lives. They've developed a palate. And since I probably seem pretty heated, it seems like a good time to random disclaimer. I do not hate pkrussl. He did a lot of shitty stuff to the online animation space, but I respect that he admitted that he was wrong and is actively working to become a better person and spread positivity instead. Please don't go hate on him, and we're on good terms, actually.
You know what's up, burnt lime.
But I digress. How do you attempt to revive a floundering community? With community. Despite its very apparent flaws and toxic nature, Animation Meme Review did provide inspiration to a lot of people to create better art. So, hear me out and tell me if this sounds good. What if someone knowledgeable in art and animation, someone who is a very active member of the community for many years, and maybe even someone who never got over their love of animation memes, reclaimed Animation Meme Review? I told you I was gonna do this, Parker! I am a man of my word, don't you forget it! Anyway! Instead of something to tear down existing artists and scare away new ones, What if it was a mini community hub to share your work and inspire others? Build our community back. But Lime, how will this be any better than pkrussll's animation meme review series? Well, I'm glad you asked, voice in my head. Here are the main problems with the old series and how my version would improve upon them. Problem number 1, lack of consent. There was rarely any consent involved in Parker's animation meme reviews. Most of the time, he would randomly grab whatever was trending in the community and rip it to shreds. Sometimes just straight up targeting individual people who he knew had large or active fan bases so that it would bring more traffic to his channel. My version will not be random at all. In order to have your meme featured, you must submit it yourself. As an extra layer of security, you must put #Blammer Burnt Lime Animation Meme Review in either the title or the first line of the description, just so I can make sure it's yours. Not only do you have to submit your animations yourself, but you also must choose what kind of feedback you're okay with. More on that later. Problem number 2, animation knowledge. Parker had no animation or art knowledge, and it showed.
It's just different poses. This is not animation. 0!
His critiques were barely critiques at the best of times, and I, on the other hand, have been doing 2D animation for over 8 years now, and just began school to learn 3D animation. I'm not the most qualified person in the world, of course, but I at least know enough about the subject to provide some meaningful critique. Problem number 3, unfairness. Parker had absolutely no context of or experience within the community he was attempting to critique. He was a complete outsider looking in. I, of course, have been an active member of this community for years and have basically seen it all just shy of the most recent 2 or 3 years where I fell off the face of the earth. Not only did I witness a lot of those infamous situations, you know what I'm talking about, but for a good chunk of them, I was way closer to them than a lot of people seem to realize. I managed to keep my name out of the drama videos, but let me just say I've seen a lot. I know exactly what to expect from this community and from memes as a whole. As a participant, not only do I understand how difficult animation is, but I also understand that the animation meme format was paramount for the survival of animation on YouTube. I understand what animation memes are and what purpose they're meant to serve, so their assessments will end up a lot fairer. Problem number 4, age limit. pkrussll's animation meme review had no age limit for targets, which often led to young children being the center of negative attention. My version has a lower limit of 16 years of age. If you're younger than 16, I won't review your meme. And problem number 5, toxicity. pkrussll's animation meme review fostered an incredibly toxic community that encouraged bullying and discouraged fun. It discouraged fun. Obviously, we're not going to do that. This kind of goes along with the unfairness point, but I'll be rating the memes on a completely different scale. This is subject to change as the series goes through growing pains, but here's my idea for now. There's a total of 50 points you are able to earn, with the categories being, do I like the art? This is, do I like the art style, the timing of the animation, the colors, the character designs? This is worth up to 10 points. Can it keep my attention? This is important for animation memes. Looping animation isn't bad, but it needs to find a way to keep the audience's attention. This is worth up to 10 points too. Is it efficient? Is the animator working smarter, not harder? How fun of a video can you make with the littlest time investment? This is worth fewer points because while efficiency should be praised, it shouldn't be the only driving force by any means. It's worth 5 points. Does it have a story? This one's pretty self-explanatory, but it is worth fewer points because stories are not at all required or expected of animation memes. It's worth 5 points. And lastly, is it fun to watch? Up to 20 points. If the meme earns above 25 points, it'll get a like. If it gets below 25 points, it'll get a dislike. Unless, of course, when submitting your meme, you request that I be nice. Oh, what's that? You can request how mean I am? Well, it's true! You know what? All these little tangents are taking too long. I'm just gonna get to what y'all really want to know and tell you how to submit your memes. Who am I kidding? Nobody's even gonna watch the video. They're just gonna see the link in the description and click it and fill it out without even watching. Anyway, finally, how do I get my meme rated? Okay. I'll tell you. In the description, there is a Google form to fill out. So let's go through it together. First, you link your meme. Make sure you edit either your title or the first line in the description with the #Blammer so I know it's really yours. There is no time limit for submitting a meme. Feel free to submit something you did years ago if you want. Second, if you'd rather be credited with a different social, link it here. Otherwise, I'll just credit your YouTube. Next, you select what kind of review you're interested in receiving. You can choose whether you're alright with me being kinda mean, or if you want me to stick to being nice. And you can also choose whether you want me to focus more on comedy or on real critique. For the last option, it makes it so I can't dislike your video no matter how few points you get. Then, of course, the obligatory age requirement. In an effort to keep kids safe, I'm capping the minimum age at 16. I don't want to be an asshole and judge your age from from your drawing abilities, so I ask that you all please be honest about this one. Please. If you're not at least 16, you really shouldn't even be watching my channel. And finally, there's a small comment box where you can say pretty much whatever. This can be context for the creation of the meme, or the lore behind it, or whatever happens to be on your mind at the time of submission. And done. Turn it in! Just some general disclaimers before you go and do all that, though. Firstly, please don't submit memes with copyrighted sound. It can get my channel in trouble depending on who owns it, and it's just not worth the risk. Secondly, 1 submission per person, please. Not everyone will be able to get into each video, obviously, so try to be fair to each other and don't flood the submissions with just your own stuff. Thirdly, please try not to submit super long or complex animations that don't follow the typical animation meme format. I know this sounds like a weird rule, but I want this to be animation meme review, not animated shorts review. And finally, support each other. Watch each other's videos, like them, comment on them, share them. I always see people talking about missing the prime of the animation meme community. Well, why don't we do something about that? Make some lazy, low quality, short animations of your characters just because you want to see them move. Have fun! And that about wraps things up. So remember that if you hit the subscribe button, blink 15 times in a row, and crawl underneath your chair, you'll turn into a mermaid on the next full moon. And, as always, I'm a starving college student and would really appreciate it if you could consider supporting me on Ko-fi so I don't have to drop out. Ko-fi supporters get all sorts of cool perks, like exclusive access to my works in progress, first dibs on commission slots, a special role and channel in my Discord server, your name at the end of my videos, and early access to events I host. Like, for example, all of my Ko-fi supporters got early access to the meme submission form. If you want perks like that, go join them. Okay, I promise I'm out of stuff to say now. Roll the outro.